everybody.
Hi.
I'm here again, and I'm very excited to be here with Veronica Williams. She is one of our fantastic project leaders, and she leads our Australia project, among other things. I'm always fascinated to talk to people from Australia because it's tomorrow for you.
Yes, we're coming to you from the future.
From the future. It's exciting. Am I going to have a good day tomorrow?
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm sure you will.
So she is here to tell us all about the Australia Project and what it does and how you can participate. And so I will let her go ahead and tell you.
Okay. So I'll just have to find what I'm doing. Okay, so hello everyone, and as I was expecting to have other people here with me today, Gillian Thomas, but she might be unwell. I'm not sure what's happened to Margaret Haining, who is our project coordinator. Gillian's another one of the project leaders at the Australia project. So I was hoping that we would just go through this presentation and stop for questions if there were any. Is that possible, or how does that all work? Or do I just talk the whole way?
So I can watch for questions and give you some.
Okay, all right, because I can't see any faces anymore. So I always find doing presentations with this sort of thing a little bit disconcerting because you can't see the audience.
It's like you're talking to yourself.
Exactly. All right, so yes, and it is the 5th of November here. I think it's the 4th of November for most of you everywhere else. So it isn't a typo, it is the future. And so we were just going to talk about a little bit about what the Australia project covers. And basically, it's anything to do with any genealogy relevant to people living in Australia today. Principally, there's sort of 3 main groups: First Nations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and the red and yellow and black flag up there is their flag. And the second area is the colonial period from 1788 to 1901, which is when Australia was settled by the British, when the first batch of convicts arrived from Britain in 1788. And Australia became Australia with Federation, which occurred in 1901. And so we categorise the rest of Australia from 1901 till present day as the post-Federation period. And there's a WikiTree address down the bottom there, a URL, and that will take you to our Australia page. And the other flag up there at the top, I should have mentioned, is the one we use today with the Southern Cross stars, as well as the British Union Jack there in the corner. So come and join us and help us to increase Australian content on WikiTree. So as far as project members go, in terms of being accepted into the project, the criteria that we apply is like all projects, is that you need to have signed the honour code and be a wiki genealogist and have that little green badge on your profile. Basically, we want you to join one of our project teams, and we've got a number of project teams which I'll show you in a minute. That we have a
Veronica,
yep.
Sorry, are you clicking through the slides?
Yeah, I am. It's all changing on my screen.
I'm only seeing the first one for some reason.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. There you go. There's the next one. That's the Australia project member criteria.
Yeah. Did you see the first one? Did you just see this one, what we cover?
No.
Oh,
now I see it.
Okay. So are you seeing the full screen?
Yeah, I see the full screen now.
Oh, okay. You don't see my little slides down the side?
Oh, wait. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny. So it's in, I was playing it in full play mode, but it doesn't seem to like it for some reason. All right. So Okay, well, we'll move on. So basically that's what we cover in the project, those three main areas. And here's the member criteria, which I was talking about. So being a wiki genealogist and needing to have the little green badge, signing the honour code. And we have a welcome post on G2G. And basically we just want people to answer the welcome post and tell us what area of the project they might like to get involved in. And basically we have an annual check-in. I think some other projects have much more regular check-ins, but in the Australia project, we're a reasonably small project, but and we've decided just to go with an annual check-in to make sure that people are still being interested in being involved in the Australia project. And a lot of our people just focus on their own profiles, and that's okay. Basically, all we want you to do is follow the guidelines that we have set and try and increase the amount of content that's on WikiTree. And that's been steadily improving, I think, over the years. I've been involved in WikiTree since about 2013, so nearly it's 9 years. and I think there's a lot more on there these days than when I first started. There wasn't really that much there. As I said before, we're organised in teams, and we've got quite a number of teams, which I'll go through in a minute. But basically, we just want people to join and become a member of one of the teams. And we have one sub-project, which is to do with our Indigenous Australian project. And most of our teams are actually based on locations and maintenance and topics of interest, a lot of historical topics. Some of our project teams are actually really sub-teams, if you like, of other larger projects that WikiTree runs, a bit like Military and War, for example, is a WikiTree project, not an Australia project, but we have a little team that looks at things like our Anzacs, which is pretty important to a lot of Australians, and other smaller sub-teams like that feed into those broader projects. So we recognise them as part of the Australia project, but they're not officially, I suppose, a project team of Australia, if that makes sense. So here's a list of all I think there's actually a few more on the bottom of that page that just didn't fit on. But here's a bit of an example of the sort of teams we have. Australia's broken up in the colonial period in different ways to how it is today. And also Australia today is broken up into states and territories. And basically we've listed our location teams around the current day states and territories. And within those teams, people work on any colony profiles that might fit in what is geographically today New South Wales, so that it's sort of streamlined in terms of how the locations fit together. And we have our maintenance teams like other projects that fit into the broader maintenance teams of WikiTree, and a number of mostly historical topic teams. Probably the biggest ones there are the Australian convict teams and the immigration type teams. Probably have the bulk of profiles related to them. And but we do also have a notables team. We've got quite a few vacancies at the moment for team leaders, and we're encouraging people to try and, if they're interested in helping to lead some of these teams, put their hand up and contact Gillian and I, so that we can actually get a little bit more happening in some of those teams. Where, as I said before, we're only a small project, and so sometimes we're a little bit thinly spread. But it's a lot of people involved in the project, very collaborative, and work together to get some standardisation across all the teams and profiles, and improve the data through the maintenance teams and that sort of thing. we've been trying to develop a whole lot of guidelines for each of our teams, and on our project page, you can see in that red box there, we've got a number of headings there. So team members can find information about the project and what the project expects in certain areas through looking at, clicking on some of those things and looking at what's in there. And this is just an example of the Australia project guidelines that we have. We're trying to get one of these for each of the teams that we have, and when you click on those, it sort of just gives you a bit of a guideline about what sort of categories you might add, what sort of stickers you might add, how we might like to, certain things that we might like to have standardized across the project, or particular areas that people might like to work on. There's sort of a works in progress as we look at the different topic areas and try and get some guidelines there. Some of the other ones there about sources and citation examples. There's a couple of members that have done a lot of work on standardising and creating tools for us to add sources and citations, and you can click on there and find a lot more information about those. Anything? No. So that's something we're working towards. I just thought we'd show some team pages just to give you an example of some of the work that some of our teams have been doing. And this one's an example of the Indigenous Australian team, and the type of project tasks are listed there that we want each profile that's captured by the Indigenous Australian to some guidelines there for members to work through when they're looking at their own profiles or other profiles that aren't necessarily managed by them. That we try and get to all those sorts of things, and listed there are some profiles that we would like to add to WikiTree if people have got time to do that. Probably our Australian convicts is a very popular project, and we've made quite a lot of progress in the early days. Particularly, there was a lot of good people around that sadly are no longer involved in the project, but they did a lot of good work in the early days to get a lot of our convicts on WikiTree, but there's still a lot more that need to be added. So we're very keen to get more people involved in these projects. We'd like all of our First Fleet people to be on there by next year, the 26th.
Great.
January. That's one of our goals, so that on Australia Day we've got them all there.
When is Australia Day?
26th of January. Yes, there's still a lot to be done, but that's one of the goals that we do have. And the trouble is, a lot of those early convicts are missing shipping records, and we don't really know where a lot of them came from. So often they are unconnected, which is a bit of a sad thing. But that's an ongoing challenge for us. We know they're probably English, most of them, or Irish, at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, DNA, I suppose, is something that's helping to resolve some of those things. Particularly some of our early ones. You know, there's a lot of conjecture about different people's parents, and some of those things are starting to emerge. That DNA is actually giving clues for some of those things. So that's good.
I was gonna say, Rosalie Nev is in the comments, and she said she found a convict today who arrived in 1831. They were at WikiTree, but the info and sources for them was not.
Yeah,
it sounds like she added some info today.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good, because there are a lot that were added very early on that really don't have many sources, and we're sort of unearthing them all the time. So you've got to sort of be out there looking for them to find some of them, Anyway, it's an ongoing work in progress, so I'm sure they'll be a challenge because, well, the first fleet's quite definable in terms of the numbers, but when you're getting down to 1831, that's after the third fleet, so there's thousands of them. So
Oh wow.
So there's it's big numbers in that area. So that's why I think we should just start at the first fleet and try and get all them on. Then
How many were in the?
I can't remember, but there was half a dozen ships and a few hundred on each. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's quite a lot, but they're quite well documented too. So a lot of them are more easily found than the later ones necessarily. Although the records were better for the later ones. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But anyway, we'll get there one day. We've also have a team that concentrates on it's part of the I think they work with the German team as well to look at a lot of the Prussians that arrived in Australia. There's particularly in South Australia, very large population came across in the 1850s, and there's also a big group in Queensland. And they've done a lot of nice work. That's their team page. It's a lovely page if you ever get to go and have a look at it. So
I love the photo of the woman.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Yes,
Yeah.
And there's a few more on that page that are nice as well. And these are just some examples of project profiles that we've got. So Yvonne Goolagong is a famous tennis player. She's a living notable, as you would recognise. So therefore, but she's on Wikipedia and all the various things. So she's got a public biography and public family tree, and lots of information there about her. A couple of other examples. This is an example of one of our early convicts, and Heather Stevens, who works on the convict projects, has done a lot of really good work with this. This profile was originally developed back in the early days, and as I was saying before, they've done a lot of good work back then. And if you look in this profile, it's got some gorgeous prints and things. But Heather's been going through and documenting various other sources and putting research notes. And this is one of those ones where there's some conjecture about her birth and who are the correct parents. So it's been a great achievement to get a lot of that stuff documented and on there. So a lot of our SAG members, Society of Australian Genealogists, have got a lot of information about these convicts. So it's a matter of getting them all onto WikiTree and trying to get all that knowledge out of their heads and putting it in here. So I'm slowly, beavering away trying to get that to happen. So, but so that's been really good. And this is just a category, we've got free space pages for all the fleets, the convict fleets that came to Australia, and also category pages. And it's just, as I was saying before, we've got 247 there at the moment under the first fleet category, but there's a lot more than that should be in there. But trying to tie these two groups together. So they're all listed on the free space page, but it's a matter of getting the profiles made and put into the category page. So works in progress as usual.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I just wanted Gillian put some stats together, and as I said before, we're a relatively small project compared to all the other projects that are around. We've got 158 active members, which isn't a large number, and at last count, 1.1 million profiles for people with Australia in the location fields.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so 61,000 unconnected and 114 database suggestions. 6,000 unsourced profiles, which seems quite a lot, but I suppose for 1.1 million, it's
That's nothing.
not too bad. And we've only got 282 project managed profiles. So, I mean, we do a lot better than some of the others, I think. It must be very difficult to manage huge numbers like some of them have.
For sure.
But we've got 282, and we've got reasonable guidelines around who we want to manage and who we don't want to manage. So we're looking to try and work on these numbers and set some goals perhaps for next year and try and, reduce at least the percentages of some of these errors and that sort of thing that we've got. But it's an ongoing battle for everybody on WikiTree, I know.
Oh, for sure.
So that's all I wanted to say about the Australia project. So unless there's any questions, but I've done a WikiTree presentation for Family History Down Under next week. So a little bit of a plug. I'm going to be there with Paul Beck, hopefully Gillian, if she's well, at a table at the conference. So if anyone's planning to be there live, pop by and see us. It'd be
That's
great.
exciting.
Catch up.
It sounds like it's going to be a really fantastic conference.
Well, it's been 3 years coming. We paid our money in 2019, I think.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, it better be good then.
So, we're wanting to come along for ages, but you lost me.
So, I was going to ask you.
Are you there?
I'm here. Hi.
Hello.
Do you have a favorite area that you like to research in, or a favorite topic, or?
I'm involved in the convicts. I like to do some of the convicts. Can you hear me? Because I think I've lost.
No, I can hear you.
Okay. It's just sort of all gone very soft. My big passion is DNA, of course, and I like to use WikiTree for DNA research and encourage others to do so. So I tend to add confirmed lines or people that I've researched through other DNA projects and get them on WikiTree rather than having them hidden away in private, unsearchable trees over at Ancestry. So that's my thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I run a couple of DNA surname projects, so I'm always putting Cassidys and Brittons and Courtneys on there.
Yeah. That's fun. Well, That's exciting. I was gonna say that I wish I had Australian ancestors, which I don't, but my husband is half Australian.
Oh, is he?
Yep, his mother is from there. So I've slowly been starting to add his lines. So maybe I will join the Australia project.
No, you should. And where is he from? Like, what area is he?
Well, where was your mom born?
Nambour, Queensland.
Nambour?
All right, in Queensland.
Yep.
Yeah, nice part of the world.
Yeah, he's been there. I've never been there, but he went to visit when he was a teenager. So
yeah.
Well, you guys do good stuff. I've seen a lot of different projects, or the space pages, and it's well, Rosalie said she'll welcome me. That is nice. Someday, I really hope to. It's been on my bucket list to go to Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah. So. Well, it is nice here. I'm going to New Zealand myself next year, so.
Oh, fun! Just to visit.
Yeah, just a visit. It's another one of those 2019 trips that I was supposed to do, but.
Yeah, we have a lot of those. It was cold today down there. Isn't it summer?
It's summer here. It's nice today, about 25, I think, in Sydney.
I live in New Mexico, which is considered a desert, and we had a little bit of snow today when I woke up.
Right, a little bit of snow.
A little bit of snow, but then in a couple days it's supposed to be 70 Fahrenheit, which I don't know what that is in Celsius, but Here, that's pretty warm for this time of year.
Add
So.
15. What was it? Add 15. No, that can't be right. I know that's the Celsius. Minus 15. I don't know.
I remember there was like a math equation for it. It was like 9/5 Celsius is Fahrenheit or something.
Yeah, I know. If Celsius, if I say it's 25, it's add 15 and double it. No, that can't be right.
That would be 80.
80. Oh, that
80
wouldn't be that
Fahrenheit.
hot. No, it's not that hot. Anyway, clearly I've forgotten about all that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So
yeah, I know. It's good.
Well, thanks for coming to share about the Australia project.
Well, I hope that was all right.
Oh, it was great. It was good. It's nice to see what you guys are doing, and I hope you make your first fleet goal for Australia Day.
Yes, well, I'm not sure whether we will. As long as we improve the numbers, that I'll be happy. If they keep going up, they go in the right direction. Well, they can only go up, can't they?
Yeah, they can't really go down. Unless you have a lot of duplicates that we don't know about.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Anyway, yes.
All right.
So hopefully there's some Australian people out there listening eventually. So thank you all for your great work on the project, and let's continue it into the future.
Sounds good to me. All right, we're going to sign off for now, everybody.
Okay, bye.